And now our continuing series on the greatest artists of all time. At number 89, the Yardbirds. In 2004, in the Rolling Stone magazine, Steven Tyler wrote about the group. He said, "Listen to Somebody, a song I wrote for Aerosmith's first album. It's all about the Yardbirds. They were the shit to us. Out of all the British bands in the 60s, the Yardbirds were a bit of a mystery. They had an eclecticism, the Gregorian chantness of the vocals, the melodic diversity, the way they use guitar feedback. I love that weirdness." Tyler continues to write, "In the 60s, I was in a band called Chain Reaction. We got to know the Yardbirds because they played the Staples High School in Connecticut in 1966. We had a friend, Henry Smith, who had been our manager for a while, and he'd gone to school there. He called me and said, 'Steven, the Yardbirds are playing here, and you can open up.' It was a lineup with Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page, who was playing bass on that tour. We waited all day for them to arrive. I grabbed their amps, and they grabbed ours. We carried each other's gear in, because back then that's what you did. Hence began the rumor that I was a roadie for the Yardbirds." Steven Tyler continues to write, "They did Shapes of Things, Beck's Boogie, among other songs. I was in such awe. They played like no other band. They weren't concerned with clothes or looks or hit singles. Their thing was, what do we do with these sounds? They did the things with harmonics, minor thirds and fifths, that created this ethereal, monstrous sound. You hear it in every song, the way they could take the blues and turn it into a pop song like For Your Love, then something psychedelic like Shapes of Things, which has that weird middle. You can hear the click when Beck hits his fuzz box. Page, in the end, was the one who took all those ideas with him to Led Zeppelin. The two shows I remember where I just sat with my mouth open was that Yardbirds show and Led Zeppelin at the Boston Tea Party in 1969. As a singer, the thing I got out of the Yardbirds was that you don't have to have a great voice. It's all about attitude. He was a white boy who pushed it to the max, and he was a great harmonica player. You never heard Jagger hanging out on a single note the way Keith Relf could. The shame is, I know how great the Yardbirds were, but I don't think everyone else knows it. The Yardbirds' music's a gold mine waiting to be stumbled upon. Aerosmith did, because we grew up in that era. The riff in Walk This Way is just us trying to explore the blues in the Yardbirds model. What the Yardbirds did is something special you don't hear in today's Blue Plate Special cookie-cutter music. Everything's so canned and sliced up now. This was back when a band was a band. You had all these personalities, and they were truly playing together. And I don't hear that today. The day of those bands, that wild stepping out, is gone. The Yardbirds. Singer and harmonica player Keith Relf, drummer Jim McCarty, and rhythm guitarist and bassist Chris Draja. Of course, they were joined by Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, and Eric Clapton along the way. Pretty amazing that three of rock's most famous guitarists all played with the band. Our song for today is Heart Full of Soul. It was a 1965 single. It was written by Graham Goldman. It charted in the U.S. at number 9, at number 2 in the U.K., Originally, the solo was supposed to be a sitar, but it was a little too thin, so Beck used a fuzz box to produce a sitar-like effect. The song is also kind of interesting. In one way or another, all three of those Yardbird key guitarists were involved with the song. Now, it's Beck playing on the song, but the U.S. single was released with a picture sleeve that had Eric Clapton on it. In the March 1968 appearance on music show Upbeat, it featured the final lineup with Jimmy Page miming to the record. It's our continuing series on the greatest artists of all time. And at number 89, the Yardbirds.
Sick at heart and lonely, deep in dark despair, thinking one thought only, where is she, tell me where? And if she says to you, she don't love me, just give her my message, tell her of my plea, and I know, well, if she had me back again, well, I would never her sad. I got a heart full of soul. Well, I would never make her sad. I got a heart full of soul. She's been gone such a long time, longer than I can bear. But if she says she wants me, tell her that I'll be there. If she says to you she don't love me, just give her my message, tell her of my plea. And I know, well, if she had me back again, well, I would never